Okay, thanks for coming and having a chat, Nikki.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So your talent in performing arts was obvious from a very early age, I believe. Not that we knew you when you were young. So your parents obviously listened to you saying that you wanted to be a performing artist, and they enrolled you at McDondald College when you were in year 5?
Yeah, I actually came in year 6.
Right. Okay.
So I came for like a trial day. I wasn't very happy at the school that I was at.
Right.
And I came for a trial day.
Right.
And I remember, I think my first class was ballet, and I think it was with you teaching me ballet. And I remember my friend, who's my lifelong friend, Sarah, I couldn't get my dress that I'd had on over my head to get my leotard to get ready for ballet. And she came over and helped me, and that's how I first made my friendship with her. And that was my first class, and I just thought, this is amazing. You get to dance and do schoolwork at the same time. Yeah. And all I remember from what my family say is when I left that day, my granddad picked me up and I was smiling, and he went, well, that's where you're going, because every other day he picked me up, I'd been miserable getting out of school. I didn't fit in. I didn't quite feel like I could find my group. And then when I came out, I was just big beaming smile, like, this is excellent. And so then, yeah, I started the college then.
Wow, yeah. That was amazing. So what sparked your love of performance? Was it just inbred in you, or was there something you saw or did?
I think the most excited thing for me is when I perform, or the most exciting thing when I perform is that I feel comfortable. I'm quite a shy and reserved person naturally. And when I feel like I'm around like-minded people or people that understand the performing arts industry, that's where I feel I can thrive. And so I did my first pantomime when I was, I think, 5 years old, with Bird Newton, Jo Beth Taylor, Cinderella, the pantomime. And it was from that moment that I realised that it wasn't as much as being on stage, but it was everything that was going on backstage that I loved. I loved speaking to the crew, finding out about the props, finding out how the sound worked, watching the older performers on stage. Every other kid was playing and, running around backstage, and I was always asking questions. Wow. And I think that's my memory, and that's also a memory of Bert Newton has of me of 5 years old, asking him these questions about the industry. And he knew that in my eyes, he said, I saw that you would want to have a career in this industry. Wow. So I think it was just finding like-minded people. And because I got that experience so early on a professional production, I think it just cemented that that's where I feel really comfortable. Whereas naturally, I'm quite a shy, reserved person.
It's finding your tribe, really, isn't it?
It is, and respecting the tribe too. I think I really respect everybody's role to make something come together. I was never one of those, okay, it's about me. That's, everybody else just follows suit. It was more about thank you to the sound, thank you to the lighting, thank you to everyone for making this happen. Because, I know without everybody in my corner, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think that's what I love about the industry more so, is that there's so many different elements that people don't see.
Shame that not every artist feels that way, but I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So how did the college nurture and support that passion, particularly in your early years with us?
I think without the support of the college, I definitely wouldn't have been able to have the career that I had, because without the school support with my learning, I wouldn't have been able to go to auditions, I wouldn't have been able to learn scripts, I wouldn't have been able to have just a really encouraging environment. And certainly after I got the Olympics, the school was a massive support for me to stay at school. I could have probably dropped out in year 10 because I did have a career, but I didn't want to, because I loved going to the school and I loved having that connection. And even if I was doing school by correspondence while on tour, I still knew I had another community at school that I could come back to and drop in and when I wanted to. So I think it's just about nurturing different performers, and we were all very different when I grew up here at the school. Where there was ballerinas, there was musicians, there was people into sound engineering, there was people into, we were all into art. We were all very different, and I think in some way, some weird dysfunctional family way, we all kind of just made it work. And I think that was what I really liked as well, was we were all a little bit different and maybe didn't fit into a mainstream school. But together we worked perfectly, and we felt like we all supported each other. Of course, there were issues, but
that's going to be issues anyway.
There's going to be issues everywhere, but the underlying was that we knew that when we got out of school, if we saw each other in productions or we saw each other on the street, we'd always be very respectful. And I think that's what the college was so amazing at when I was at school, was just creating that that feel of community.
And I think when you came back after doing a show or Olympics, you were just embraced as just another kid in the class, which was, I think, really important.
Absolutely. No one treated me any different. And I think being at the school a few years before I got the Olympics also helped with that. I didn't move schools, and it was just like, oh, Nikki's back, you know. I was like, Nikki, they're marking the role, Nikki's not here today, you know, and everyone just got used to it. And I think that was the great thing. They knew I'd pop in when I was here, and when I couldn't be, that was fine as well. It was just like old times when we'd catch up.
Yeah. So being the face of the Sydney 2000 Olympics, 24 years on, at such a young age, that must have been an incredible experience. So how do you look back on that now?
I look back on it as being incredibly grateful. I mean, it was such a magical time to be in Sydney, but it was also the best time of my life to be representing my country on a global scale. And pretty much all I wanted to do was make David Atkins and Rick Birch proud. Like, I didn't really think about anything else. I was like, I've got to hit my marks, I've got to do this. I had different directors for each segment. All I wanted to do was make them proud for what they had given me as my tools and my what they wanted the hero girl to represent in their segments. So that's pretty much, I didn't really think about the next day or anything else that happened after that. I was just like, all I wanted was in my little earpiece, David Atkins to say, great job, girl, you know, and he did. And I was like, yes. And so it was just magical. I mean, I still remember it, you know, when I go back and watch it with my kids, I still relive it. I remember where I had to stand. I remember what was going on. I remember where my childminder was at that point, you know, when I used to run off and then she'd collect me and take me to the next spot. My kids are always like, be quiet, Mum, we're trying to watch. I'm like, but this is that part and this is that part. So to me, it's incredible, even though it is 24 years on, that I still remember every single bit.
Yeah, because it was so amazing.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I got to spend so much time with the Aboriginal community. They really took me under their wings. So while we were doing rehearsals, I was sitting with the tribe, and I learned so much culturally about our country as well. And everybody just embraced me and took me under their wings. So they're the memories that I hold very
That
very
image
dear.
of you with Jakapura and you in your little pink dress with Jakapura.
He was my favourite. He's just remarkable person and looked after me for years after the Olympics as well, always checking in on me. Just as such a remarkable person to be around. Yeah. Except he was quite scared in the eternity segment when we went up at the end of the opening.
Oh, really?
He didn't like heights. So then I got to look after him. You'll see he holds my hand. And it's because he was scared of heights, and he was like, well, if Nikki's flying, then I can do this. And so you'll see him on there, and he just like holds my hand. I'm like, yeah, mate, I got you. So that was nice.
Gorgeous. So did performing in both the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony help shape your career or give you confidence as a performer? Or?
I think performing in the opening ceremony changed my life for the better. I think all the dreams as a young girl that you write down, you want to make an album, you want to be a pop star, you want to do musical theatre because that was my passion. They all came true at 13, 14, 15 years old. So it was amazing. I had a clothing line for girls in Kmart. It was just my whole life changed because of that one opportunity that I was presented with. So it definitely shaped me because I knew that I loved it, and I didn't want to stop after that. I wanted to keep the ball rolling and try different things and see where else I could go. But then there's also the other side of it is when you're given all of that at such a young age and you become a young adult, what do you do or where do you go? So then it was a hard thing because all my dreams had come true, and I was like, now what do I do? So in some ways it was a blessing, and in other ways, it was hard because then people expected a lot, and people would say, oh, she's a one-hit wonder, and so I had all that side of things as well.
So there's probably a lot of negative as well as positive. So how did you manage that?
I think family. I think that's really the only thing that got me through the ups and downs. Keeping me grounded was my family. We're very, normal family. 2 working parents, went to work 9 to 5 to pay for school, pay for dancing. And they never gave up their jobs to look after me. We would always work it out, and someone would take time off work. And so we kind of kept a very normal life. And also staying in Australia, I think, helped hugely. I was offered so many times to move to America. I was offered contracts over there, But I know that if we did as a family, our whole life would have changed and we wouldn't be the people we are. So I'm glad my parents made that important decision to stay here. But yeah, it's just family and trying to keep a very small circle around you so that you're not, don't have too much noise around you, I think is the only thing that kept me grounded.
Good advice. So after the Olympics, still at the age of 13, 14, you released Strawberry Kisses, which became, a hit.
Yes, the song that keeps giving.
Yeah. And at the same time, you were performing in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to balance that performance along with your academic studies?
I think the Wizard of Oz period of my life was so extremely...
Were you in year 10 then?
I was in year 10, it was year 9 into year 10, yes. It was such an extreme opportunity that I couldn't pass up, but it was also incredibly physically and mentally demanding on me as a young lady, really, because I had no social life other than at the theatre. We would do 8 shows a week. I'm the only minor to ever do 8 shows a week still. I had to get special permission to do it, which I'm grateful I did. But, when your name's on the poster, you don't want to do every second show. So I really had to fight for that. If I was going to do it, I needed to do 8 shows a week. But then I also still wanted to keep my schooling up. And that's where the college was so supportive. You would provide all my work to my tutor when I was in Melbourne and Brisbane doing the tour. And I would school in the day and then I'd go to the theatre at night. It was hard, but it was still a great time in my life. I remember coming back, I think we finished the show on the Sunday night. We did two shows Sunday and I flew back and we had our high school certificate, our year 10
school certificate.
Then on the Monday, and I had Monday, Tuesdays off from the show, and we had Monday, Tuesday of a school certificate, and I flew out after the last exam and back for a Wednesday double show. And I remember turning up to the school and I hadn't seen anyone and I was like, who are these people? Like, I didn't really know anyone at that point because I'd missed that whole year of just being in the classroom. And that's when I made the decision that after I finished Wizard, that for year 11 and 12, I wanted to make sure my tours were organised around school holidays so that I could have that experience of being at school for my final years.
Yeah, amazing. So during that time, you won the Johnny Keefe Encouragement Award.
You've done your research. See, I forget this stuff.
I know there were lots of other awards too. That was at the Mo Awards, I think.
Yeah,
2001 Mo Awards.
Yes.
And of course, 2001 was the year you graduated.
Was it now? Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
No,
sorry, 2004 graduation.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So you were still very young. Yeah. So how was it feeling getting that sort of award at that age, at such a young age?
I think to ever be recognised for the work that you've done or the work that you've put in is a huge honour, and I was just incredibly grateful. I mean, the whole room I was surrounded by just such incredible artists and talented people, so to actually have your name pulled out and say you've won it I was like, no, they've got it wrong, like, that can't be me. But it was amazing, and it's something I hold very dear, to even be acknowledged by the industry. I think that's really important as well. So it's not only the public, but when your industry goes and recognises you for your work, that's a really, really amazing feeling as an artist.
Very, very special. So receiving that recognition, did that influence future opportunities also, or was it just a moment in time?
I think it's more a moment in time, but I think as an artist it makes you, it reignites something in you that you want to keep going. It's that little like pat on the shoulder that you get, that you go,
well done.
Oh, okay, great, yeah, now I can go to the next step, or now I've achieved that, what can I do next, or how can I give back, or what's the next step? So I definitely think as an artist you need those things to keep you going. Otherwise you just feel like you're fighting in the dark, really. So when you get those moments, it is a matter of, it does reignite that energy to keep pushing yourself forward to the next.
And you said, you didn't know really some of the children in your class at that stage. And, you do a show, you go back to your hotel, you wake up, you go back to the shows. Was it a lonely time?
It was an incredibly lonely time. And I was lucky that I either had my parents or my grandparents with me during that time. But I'm sure I was quite difficult at that time as well, like for them, because it was there's a lot of pressure when your name's at the top of a poster for a show, that you are delivering what's expected of that audience every night, and also of the cast.
You've got to stay fresh because everyone expects the same performance every night.
And the cast and the crew are all, if the show fails, then, you know, there's a lot of pressure that the bums are on seats. So it was also quite hard on me, and I probably wasn't the best young lady at that time, as in at home time, because you need that, you know, time to just be by yourself. But I think now everybody understands that what I was going through as a family during that time, that I needed those moments just to kind of vent out, because otherwise I was on show, you know, pretty much the rest of the day.
And you can't be on show 24 hours a day.
Yes, it's
and particularly when you're, you know, a teenager.
Yes, yeah, it was hard, but I think, you know, you navigate it, and, you know, there's plenty of stories I'm sure my grandparents tell about me coming home from a show and not being the nicest if dinner wasn't right or something. So.
Yeah. And so now you have got two children attending McDondald College in the junior school, where your journey began here. How does it feel to watch them walking in the same halls and studios as you did?
It's the most surreal feeling to see your kids go to a school that you went to and you love so much. But it's also so amazing that they can have this opportunity. And I think the best thing is we get to share it together. So as a student, I loved coming here, and I loved being in this community of performers and being in the environment of performing arts and education working together. And so the fact that my children wanted to come here and begged me to come here, I go, oh, okay, that's awesome, you know, and we get to share this journey together. It's pretty much like reliving my childhood. I think the best thing is there's some teachers here that were still here when I went to school. You're still here. So, you know, as much as sometimes I walk down the halls and feel like I'm still a student sometimes, and I don't want to get in trouble and never want to be late, it's pretty emotional. And the first time I saw Skylar perform, which was a prefect's concert, she'd only been at the school for a few weeks, I was sobbing in the audience, which I'm not like that. And it was just seeing that environment of the Year 12 supporting her as a Year 5 student, and everyone cheering her on, and me remembering prefect concerts when I was a kid here and how much fun they were, and she just lit up the stage. Her face, I could tell that she was home, and I was just sobbing. And so it's beautiful to watch her, and both of them be here, but to watch them feel like they're at a place that they can grow with, that's really important for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So as you said, Skylar performed in the prefects concert, but both Skylar and Malachi are talented young performers who shine on the stage. They really do light up the stage. Do you want them to follow in your footsteps? Or do you have no choice?
I have no choice. I think that's the thing. I've always said to them, whatever you choose to do, you give it 100%. So you work hard. You give it your all, and you don't give up. It's not going to be easy, whatever you choose, but I'll support you. And if that was going to be sport, then, you know, being a cricket mum or whatever that meant, I was always going to be there supporting them. But in their bones and in their blood is music. I mean, both my kids have been around dance and movement and performance, and since pretty much they were like a day old. I'm hoping that they continue, because I can see how much they love it. I know it's a very hard journey for them. But if they're going to put in the work, then I'm happy to support it, and hopefully I get to be in the front row cheering them on when they get their first lead role. So
fantastic.
That's my dream. So.
That's amazing. So over the years, you've had a career as multiple genres. So an actor, a dancer, a model, TV, vocalist. You know, so many different areas. How have you evolved as an artist? And is there a particular aspect of your career that you most cherish?
I think I cherish all parts of who I am, because without every little bit, it wouldn't make me whole. I definitely love being a mum, and I definitely love being a mentor to younger performers. I love seeing the new talent that we have in this country, and I love being on a student's journey of performing and watching their love develop for the industry. So I certainly love that side. And then I also love the fact that I got to do so much as a young performer. And I'm just grateful for every bit. And I think without every little piece of my journey, good, bad, indifferent, whatever that might be, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. So I think I certainly love musical theatre. That's where my heart and soul is.
And of course that combines them all.
It combines them all. It's the singing, dancing, acting. It's the fact that you get to be a part of a tribe on stage and build that relationship over a period or a season of a show. So you have fun on stage, you have fun off stage. I do love that. I love being part of the group. But then I also love being a solo artist and, you know, having backup dancers and you know, having some sass on stage. Like I love that part of it too. And driving the performance. I love that side. And then I like the other side, which is the management and, you know, marketing and how to deal with that side and looking after a brand and developing a brand. So I think I was lucky enough to be at every boardroom table as a young adult or a young child. No one ever left me out of the room when decisions were made. I was always sitting at the table and had a voice. And I think having a voice has allowed me to see how everything came together and respect everything.
Yes, you've really learned on the ground.
Yeah, I did, absolutely.
Not out of a book.
Absolutely. No one ever left me out, and that was, and you know, that was why I think I was able to get so much out of the career or the journey that I had as a young child. Yeah,
amazing. So do you have a memorable performance or experience that you were involved in here at the college?
Memorable. Now you're going to test
a show. You would have been in the ballet performances, I'm sure,
yes,
at the Opera House.
I think most of the time, being honest, I made it to dress rehearsal and then I always got a show. And my ballet teachers were never very happy with Miss Nikki because Miss Nikki couldn't do the actual show. But we did the big performance. Was it our, how many, was it 20?
The 20th.
20th year. Yeah, I loved doing that.
That would have been in your final year, 2004.
Yeah. That's probably my most memorable. I remember I was wearing a white skirt and a white top, and I just remember it being, you know, past students coming and all the younger students being there, and I remember that being, it's probably my most memorable performance because I also had a career at that point, so it was nice to come and just, you know, stand there and be a part of the school. So it's wonderful.
Amazing. So given your incredible journey from childhood performer to a multifaceted adult, running your own business, performer, etc., what advice would you give to current students who dream of a career in the performing arts?
I think it's just to follow your heart. I think your gut always knows what's right for you. And you know, as I said before, just keep your circle tight. I think it's important to have people that you trust around you. And something that I was always taught was that always be nice to the people on your way up in your career, because there'll always be a point when you need to come down and those people will still be there. So that's probably the first thing I learned straight after the Olympics. It doesn't matter how quickly you get up there, there will be a point where you plateau or come down, and you're going to need some of those, that the help from the people that are below you.
So great advice.
Always make sure that you are respecting every single person that helps you get to that point.
And I think that really epitomises the values of the school. So one of the values being commitment, but humility. Yes. And I think every artist has to have humility.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think we all need that self-belief, but you've got to get the balance. You've got to have a balance. That's correct, because without the drive and having that self-belief, then a lot of artists wouldn't be as successful as they are. But we also need to be real and realise that it takes a village, it takes a community to make it happen. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back on all that you've accomplished since your time at the college, what do you hope your legacy will be, both in performing arts and as a role model for children and future generations?
Hopefully I'm still the only ever, Australian child star. I want to hold that forever.
Except when Skylar comes up.
That's true. Okay, I'll pass the baton to her. That's okay. Look, I think the most amazing thing is it doesn't matter how many years since the Olympics passed, I can still meet people. Even yesterday, met a lady who was a volunteer at the opening ceremony, and she was reliving all her moments as being a volunteer for one of the sports events, and what it meant to her being in Sydney in the year 2000. And I think it's just that. It's when people stop me on the street and go, "Oh my God, in the year 2000 you were amazing," and I'm like, I'm still remembered for that moment.
And luckily, you don't look much different.
I got a few records, but I think that's the best. If I leave anything, it's the fact that I left I left a moment of everybody in our country feeling proud and feeling honourable and feeling respectful of this incredible country that we get to live in. And I'm a tiny piece of that. I didn't win a gold medal, but I'm a tiny piece of that. And I think that's huge. And if that's all I leave, I'm happy with that.
It was a very special moment. I mean, we were there because we had 100 children performing.
Yes, you were the fishes in Deep Sea Dreaming.
Didn't actually see you though, because we were back corralling the children.
That's it. I know.
So I had to go home and watch it on TV.
Yeah, I know. And that was the thing. Like, even when I was flying above in the sky, I still had all my school friends that were below me, and that was pretty awesome too. Yeah. So we all got to share that journey when I got back to school and memories, and we had photos and everything. So that was really fun.
That was amazing. So do you have any exciting projects or ambitions for the future that you can talk about?
I think, look, we're always working on things and waiting for the right time to make things happen. My most important thing is being a mum and making sure Skylar and Malachi are in this supported environment and get to follow their dreams, and being able to provide for them as a mum is incredibly important. And also building my dance studio. We've been open for 16 years. So,
and you say we, that includes your brother Scott.
Yes, that includes my brother Scott, who's also a past student. Yes. So you did something good, because we're both still in the industry and we love it. So I think it's, working with Scott, we're always working on different projects and opportunities for young performers to stay in this country and not have to go overseas and be artists. So we're really passionate about that, because there is enough work in this country for artists, and so that's something that we work on. I'm also developing my own documentary about my life as well, and that just talks about some of the ups and downs and things I've gone through in life that maybe people might not be aware of, and give people a little bit of an insight into who I am, and hoping that kind of leads into more, a performance opportunity to do another tour. So that's kind of where we're working on. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming and sharing all those memories with us. It's just been wonderful having a chat to you again.
Oh, no, it's lovely to reminisce. I mean, life goes on, but to actually stop and think back on why I'm this person and what helped me become, the young lady that I was when I left the school. It's beautiful, and I get to relive that every day now when I drop the kids at school in the morning, and I get to sit in the car for a minute and go, I remember that. Oh, there's this, these memories pop up into my head, and since the kids have been at school, I've been reconnecting with students from, when I was here, because it's been like, I haven't heard what they're up to. Let me just, what are they up to? And I've caught up a lot with, a lot of my classmates. So that's been really lovely too. Right. And just seeing how much they're thriving in their fields. It's incredible.
And it's 20.
It's our 20
years since you graduated this year.
So that's really lovely, because we're all kind of reconnecting and sharing stories about where we're at in life and what we're doing. And
wonderful.
They're all remarkable people, and maybe I was blessed and had the most amazing classmates, but they were great.
I think every year we have remarkable kids come through, and that's what makes my job so exciting and rewarding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's lovely to see that everyone's living life large, and we're all doing great. So.
Yeah. And I see Malachi and particularly Skylar walk down the corridor. I think, it's little Nikki.
Poor thing. Hopefully she's a better version.
Okay, thanks, Nikki. It's been great having you.
Thank you.